Conservative commentator Acosta heaped praise on White House senior policy advisor Stephen Miller for challenging reporters during the White House press briefing Wednesday, while other prominent Republicans criticized CNN's Jim Acosta for showing political bias against the Trump administration. In a series of tweets, Acosta said Miller's appearance at the briefing was the best moment of the Trump presidency since the inauguration in January. The great Stephen Miller speaking at the White House press conference right now. Must see. We need to clone Stephen Miller and appoint him to every cabinet position, Acosta wrote. Stephen Miller eating press's lunch. Must see. Long faces in the press room. Experts say many people voted for Trump because they want Stephen Miller running the country. This press conference would be a great opportunity to announce Chris Barker's new Homeland Secretary. This press conference is the best moment of the Trump presidency since the inauguration, Acosta continued. Idiot reporter cites poem later added to the Statue of Liberty as of SP. It's a founding document, binding U.S. government officials. I wonder if it would help if all Trump spokesmen were as smart as Stephen Miller. Miller spoke to members of the White House press corps about a new bill from Senators David Perdue of Georgia and Tom Cotton of Arkansas that would implement a merit-based point system for immigrants applying for legal permanent status. President Trump endorsed the plan during a ceremony at the White House earlier Wednesday. During the briefing, Miller faced off against several reporters, including the New York Times' Glenn Thrush and CNN's Acosta. Miller criticized the New York Times for supporting low-skilled immigrants over American workers, and joked that lawmakers would carve out an exception in the bill to specifically allow the newspaper to take in as many unskilled workers as it wants, at the cost of jobs for American citizens. Maybe we'll make a carve-out in the bill that says the New York Times can hire all the low-skilled, less-paid workers they want from other countries and see how you feel then about low-wage substitution, he said. This is a reality that's happening in our country. Maybe it's time we have compassion for American workers. During the briefing, Acosta insinuated that the White House wants to allow only immigrants from Great Britain and Australia into the U.S. because they can speak English. Perdue and Cotton's bill aims to give green cards to immigrants who can speak English. Miller then accused Acosta of holding a cosmopolitan bias and said it was insulting that Acosta imply Perdue and Cotton's bill is racist. Have you honestly never met an immigrant from another country who speaks English outside of Great Britain and Australia? Is that your personal experience? Miller asked. It shows your cosmopolitan bias. Acosta's line of questioning to Miller earned him criticism among Republicans, including Ari Fleischer, former President George W. Bush's press secretary. At Acosta, an advocate for a political point of view, not as a neutral reporter, he tweeted, "He's not even playing the devil's advocate. This is bias." Frank Luntz, a Republican pollster, said Acosta embarrassed himself during the briefing. I know journalist Twitter will disagree, but Jim at Acosta embarrassed himself by throwing up this straw man today, Luntz tweeted, with a link to a video showing the exchange with Miller. Rich Lowry, the editor of National Review, said Miller had the edge during his back and forth with the CNN reporter. Stephen Miller has the advantage in this exchange with Acosta of actually knowing what he's talking about, Lowry said on his Twitter account.